It was just another Tuesday evening. You know the kind. The day felt long, dragging its feet towards the finish line. All I wanted was to get home, kick off my shoes, maybe pour a glass of something cool. But the little orange light on my dashboard blinked at me. Empty, again. So I pulled into the brightly lit island of the local gas station. It seemed like everyone else had the same idea. Cars were lined up at every pump. Inside the little convenience store, the line snaked almost back to the door. I sighed. Just my luck. I took my place at the end, shifting my weight, already tired. People around me looked tired too. Scrolling on their phones, staring blankly ahead, just waiting. The air hummed with the low thrum of refrigerators and the faint smell of coffee and gasoline. Normal, boring even. And then, the yelling started. It wasn't just loud, it was angry. Really angry. It cut through the tired quiet like a knife. Everyone froze. Heads snapped up. Eyes darted towards the counter. My heart gave a little jump. You know that feeling? Like something bad is about to happen, and you're stuck right in the middle of it. I could see a man at the front of the line. He was older, maybe in his 60s, thin and wiry, with gray hair sticking out from under a faded baseball cap. His face was red, twisted with fury. He was yelling at the poor girl behind the counter. She looked so young, maybe still in high school, her eyes wide with fear. What do you mean it's declined? The man shouted, slamming his fist on the counter. The sound echoed in the small store. A few people gasped. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. I just got paid. There's money in there. You trying to cheat me? The cashier flinched. Sir, I just ran it again. It says insufficient funds. Maybe you could try another card? Or cash. Her voice trembled. I don't have another card. I don't have cash. He roared back. This is all I have. You think this is funny? You trying to make a fool out of me? The air grew thick with tension. People shifted uncomfortably. Some looked down at their shoes, pretending not to hear. Others watched, eyes wide, but nobody moved. Nobody said anything. It felt awful, like we were all holding our breath, waiting for it to get worse. I felt helpless, angry at the man, scared for the girl. What could anyone even do? Then I noticed him. He was standing a few people ahead of me in line. Quietly, almost blending in. He wore a military uniform, crisp and neat. Not flashy, just solid. He hadn't moved when the yelling started. He hadn't flinched. He just stood there observing. His face was calm, but his eyes missed nothing. They scanned the situation, taking it all in. I remember thinking, oh great, a soldier. Is he going to step in? Maybe yell back? Maybe use his authority somehow? Part of me hoped he would do something, anything, to make the yelling stop. Another part of me worried it would just make things escalate. You hear stories, tempers flare. Things get out of hand so quickly. The man kept yelling, getting more agitated. You call your manager. Get them out here. This is ridiculous. I need my gas. I have to get to work. The young cashier looked like she was about to cry. She fumbled with the phone, her hands shaking. And that's when the soldier moved. He didn't push. He didn't raise his voice. He simply stepped out of the line, calmly walking towards the counter. Everyone watched him. The store went completely silent, except for the angry man's ragged breathing. My heart was pounding now. What was he going to do? He didn't go straight to the angry man. First he stopped beside the cashier. He leaned in slightly, just enough for her to hear him, but his voice was low, steady. I couldn't make out the exact words from where I stood, but I saw the effect they had. The immediate terror in her eyes lessened just a tiny bit. He offered her a small, reassuring nod. It was a simple gesture, but it seemed to ground her. Then he turned to the angry man. He didn't square up to him. He didn't look aggressive at all. He just stood near him, his posture relaxed but attentive. He waited for the man to pause his tirade, just for a second to take a breath. When the moment came, the soldier spoke. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried in the sudden silence. It was calm, respectful. Sir, he said simply. Not accusingly, not angrily, just acknowledging him. The angry man whipped his head around, ready to unleash his fury on this new target. What do you want? He spat, his eyes blazing. The soldier didn't react to the anger. He just met the man's eyes, and then he did something completely unexpected. He didn't tell him to calm down. He didn't tell him he was wrong. He didn't threaten to call the police. He just asked a question. A simple, quiet question. "Rough day?" he asked gently. That was it. Just 2 words. Rough day. It hung in the air. It was so unexpected. So human. The angry man faltered. His mouth opened then closed. The rage in his eyes flickered, replaced by confusion. Surprise? He stared at the soldier, searching his face. The soldier didn't break eye contact. He just waited patiently. His expression wasn't pitying. It was understanding. Deeply understanding. It was the kind of look that said, "I see you." Not just the anger. I see the person underneath it. For a moment, nothing happened. The man just stood there, breathing hard. The redness seemed to drain slightly from his face. Then the soldier spoke again, his voice still low and steady. "Happens to the best of us," he said. "Sometimes it feels like everything's piling on at once, doesn't it?" He wasn't making excuses for the man's behavior. He was just acknowledging the feeling behind it. The frustration. The pressure. And that's when the shocking part truly happened. The angry man's shoulders slumped. The fight seemed to drain out of him completely. His eyes, which had been spitting fire moments before, suddenly welled up with tears. He blinked rapidly, trying to hold them back, but one escaped, tracing a path down his weathered cheek. He swallowed hard, his throat working. "Yeah," he croaked, his voice thick with emotion. "Yeah, it really does." He looked down at the counter, then back at the soldier, shame flooding his features. "I lost my job last week," he stammered, the words tumbling out now. "My wife, she's sick. The bills. I thought I had enough for gas to get to an interview tomorrow. Across town. When she said," he trailed off, unable to continue, covering his face with a trembling hand. The entire store was frozen. You could have heard a pin drop. The anger that had filled the space just moments before was replaced by a heavy, stunned silence. We hadn't seen an angry, unreasonable man. We had seen a man at his breaking point, his desperation spilling out as rage. The soldier didn't say, "I told you so." He didn't lecture. He didn't draw attention to the man's breakdown. He simply placed a gentle hand on the man's shoulder. A brief, supportive touch. "Let's figure this out," the soldier said quietly. He turned to the still startled cashier. "How much was the gas?" She mumbled the amount, maybe $30. The soldier reached into his own pocket, pulled out his wallet, and handed her 2 $20 bills. "This should cover his gas," he said calmly. "And maybe add a coffee for him too. And put the change towards whatever this young lady wants," he added, nodding towards the cashier. The older man looked up, his face streaked with tears. No, I can't let you do that," he choked out. "It's all right," the soldier interrupted gently but firmly. "We all need a hand sometimes. Just pay it forward when you can." He gave the man's shoulder another squeeze. "Go get your gas. And good luck with the interview tomorrow." He wasn't patronizing. He wasn't making a big show of it. It was just quiet kindness. Radical empathy in the face of anger. The older man stared at him, speechless. Then he nodded slowly, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand. He mumbled a thank you so low it was barely audible. He took the receipt the cashier offered, his hand still shaking, and shuffled out towards the pumps, looking smaller than he had before. The soldier then turned back to the cashier. "You okay?" he asked her softly. She nodded, managing a small watery smile. "Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. You handled that well," he told her kindly, before turning back towards the line. But the line wasn't really a line anymore. People were just standing there, watching him, processing what they had just seen. The shock wasn't about a confrontation, it was about the complete lack of one. It was about the unexpected turn from anger to vulnerability, all because one person chose understanding over judgment, calm over conflict. As the soldier walked back towards his place in line, though everyone sort of wordlessly motioned for him to go ahead, he passed me. Our eyes met for just a second. He gave me a small, almost imperceptible nod. It wasn't boastful, It was just acknowledgement. A shared moment of humanity. I felt tears sting my own eyes. It wasn't just relief that the confrontation was over. It was awe. Awe at his quiet strength. His ability to see past the surface. To recognize pain hidden behind anger. How many of us would have done that? How many of us would have just judged, or backed away, or gotten angry ourselves? He didn't lecture the man about his behavior. He didn't need to. The man's own shame was punishment enough. Instead, the soldier addressed the root cause, the man's desperation and pain. He diffused the situation not with force, but with compassion. He paid for his own items quickly and left. No fanfare, no looking back for praise. He just went. Another soldier heading out into the world, carrying his own burdens, I'm sure, but still finding the capacity for extraordinary kindness. The mood in the store shifted completely. The tired silence from before was replaced by a softer, more thoughtful quiet. People started talking in low tones, but not about the man's anger. They talked about the soldier, about what he did. Wow, the person behind me whispered. Just, wow, I can't believe he just did that. Someone else murmured. I finally got to the counter. The young cashier still looked a little shaken, but also relieved. As she rang up my snacks, she looked at me. That was amazing, wasn't it? It really was, I said, my voice a little thick. He saw something everyone else missed. She nodded. He really did. She used the change the soldier had left to buy herself a bottle of water. Driving home that night, the encounter played over and over in my mind. The raw anger, the fear. And then that quiet question, rough day. The sudden shift, the vulnerability revealed, the soldier's profound empathy. It shocked everyone in line because we expected the usual. Shouting matched with shouting. Authority pulled. Maybe even police called. We expected escalation. What we got was de-escalation through pure, unexpected humanity. It made me think about how often we react to the surface. How quick we are to judge the anger, the frustration, the rudeness we encounter. How rarely we stop to think about the pain or fear that might be hiding underneath. That soldier didn't just pay for a stranger's gas. He saw a person drowning, and threw him a lifeline, not of money, but of understanding. He reminded everyone in that little gas station store that a little compassion can be more powerful than any amount of anger or force. It's easy to be tough. It's easy to be angry. It takes real strength to be kind, especially when it's least expected. That soldier, whose name I never learned, showed everyone the true meaning of strength that night. Not the strength to fight, but the strength to understand. The strength to connect. The strength to see the human being behind the outburst. And that quiet act of kindness, in a mundane gas station on an ordinary Tuesday night, was more shocking, more impactful, and ultimately, more powerful than any confrontation could ever have been. It's a reminder I carry with me now. A reminder to try, just try, to look past the anger and see the person standing there, maybe just having a really rough day, because sometimes a little understanding is all it takes to change everything. Wow, what an incredible moment of humanity, right? It just goes to show you never know what someone else is going through. Have you ever witnessed something like this? Or maybe you were the soldier, or the person having a rough day. Let us know your thoughts and stories in the comments below. We love hearing from you. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next story. Sharing this video with your friends and family helps spread these kinds of positive messages even further. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate every single one of you. See you in the next video.